The seem means it's not real. Well, it's real, but you know. Hello Weirdos, welcome to the best list ever, coming at you every Thursday for your party, conversation, education. Hey, remember to subscribe so you don't miss out, and while you're down there, ring our bell for notifications. This video is brought to you by the asshole shirt, link in the description. By the way, if you're subscribed, you could win one, or one of the other Legion of Weirdos shirts, or a weirdo cargo package. With that out of the way, for this week's list, I got more Colombia facts. $80 hat. Cheap party favor. The really good ones fold up nicely so you can put them in your pocket when you don't need them. Did you know that Bogota closes a whole bunch of its major streets every Sunday so people could ride bikes? If you didn't, then you missed my video on that. The link's in the description. It's called Ciclovia, and they also do it in Cali and Medellin. In Colombia, sometimes local governments will enact a dry law during major events like big soccer games or elections. Consuming alcohol during these times is illegal. Not just buying it, consuming it. I'll see you again later. That actually happened during the weekend of my wedding in Bogota. My wife and in-laws were freaking out. It's not a Colombian wedding without alcohol. In fact, at ours, they stopped at midnight to eat something called caldo de castilla. It's a beef stock soup full of potatoes and carrots to help you kind of soak up the alcohol. They call it hangover soup. In our case, I guess it was preventative medicine. I'm not sure if it's true of all weddings, but I've been to a few that have served it. Oh, by the way, for us, the dry law went into effect at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. That's good because the wedding was on Saturday, so we were able to have alcohol, just everybody got kicked out at 3 a.m. Usually a Colombian wedding will go pretty much all night. Colombia has more bird species than any other country on earth. A lot of people think that's Brazil. It's not. Brazil has more parrot species than any country on earth, but Colombia has them beat in the general birds category. Colombians make most of their nouns diminutive. Papito, mamita, carrito, gatito, perrita, even agüita. That doesn't mean a little water. It means little water. Which is really kind of weird when you think about it. Speaking of weird, Colombia has some weird fruit like lulo, which in Ecuador is known as naranilla, like little orange. And it's so not an orange, so good on you, Colombia, for calling it something else. Then there's the granadilla, which some kids call moco de elefante, which means elephant snot. My wife wonders why I won't eat it. The pitahaya looks more like an alien species than a fruit. And the níspero, come on, can I just have a banana? What the hell is that? That actually is a Brazilian wandering spider. Brazilian, sure, but those little bastards wander all the way to Colombia. It's notable because it's the most venomous spider in the world, and they like to hang out in bananas, which is Colombia's third most popular export behind coffee and flowers. So check your banana package as well, although I guess you can't really miss them. In Colombia, your boss is more likely to be a woman than a man. President Nixon once gave Colombia a moon rock with a plaque that read, "Presented to the people of the Republic of Colombia," with a U. That mistake was later repeated by Adidas. Don't write it that way, people. It's Colombia with an O in the middle, even though I always mispronounce it myself. Blame my wife, she doesn't stop me. By the way, Colombians, what's with this Estados Unidos crap? It's United States. Say it right. Es un chiste. Tranquilo, Colombia, con un O. In Meta, Colombia, there's a river called Caño Cristales, nicknamed the Liquid Rainbow. Its incredible striking colors make it one of the most beautiful rivers in the world. To get there from Bogota involves about 24 hours of driving, so you're better off flying into a little town called La Macarena. And if you sing that song that's in your head right now to the people of La Macarena, they might punch you. Prior to the Colombian exchange in the 15th century, there was no coffee in Colombia. It originated in Ethiopia. In Colombia, you can legally drink tea made out of cocaine. It's called té de coca, and it contains about 4 to 5 milligrams of coca alkaloid per serving. By comparison, a line of cocaine has about 30 milligrams, so don't get any crazy ideas. You'd have to drink enough tea to give yourself a stomachache. I've had it. It helps gringos breathe at high altitude, but it really only feels like slightly overdosing on cold medicine. If you're from the US and you travel to Colombia, you're likely to lose weight, and it won't be from the food. Although for most of Colombia, the food is more real than in the States. High fructose corn syrup and processed foods are starting to muscle their way in. Now, the weight you lose will be from your increased metabolism and the extra exercise you get from the altitude and all the walking around. I need to spend about 6 months in Colombia. In Zipaquirá, there's an entire cathedral carved inside a mountain. It's in a salt mine and it's called Catedral de Sal. Actually, there are 2 salt cathedrals. The first one was completed in 1954 with a capacity for about 8,000. It had to close in 1992 for structural concerns, and in 1995 another one was opened 200 feet below the first one. That one includes a really cool water mirror by the gift shop. Colombia has pink dolphins. My daughter would love those. They're called Amazon river dolphins, and they're actually in 5 other countries too. They're the most widespread river dolphin in the world. Malls aren't dead in Colombia. While Amazon, Target, and Walmart systematically choke out all the brick and mortar establishments in the US, Colombians are actually building newer and bigger shopping malls. Plaza Central, one of Bogota's 5 biggest malls, just opened, and construction is underway for one called El Eden, which is going to be the country's biggest mall. My in-laws live near Centro Comercial Santa Fe, and I can tell you that place is thriving. I walk around there and suddenly I'm a teenager in the 80s again. Except everything's in Spanish, and the stuff is newer, and my back hurts, and I'm tired from all the walking. My kids have wandered off again. And speaking of shopping, if you pay for anything by card in Colombia, they'll ask you cuántas cuotas. That means you get to determine at the time of purchase how many payments you'll make on the balance. If you're Colombian. If you pay with a card from the States, the answer is uno. Don't drink and drive in Colombia. The laws there are strict. The lowest fine is equal to $600 US and the loss of your license for a year. The second offense will cost you 15% of the commercial value of your car. So I guess if you have to drink and drive, drive a piece of crap. Better yet, drink milk from a Baggie. If you're Canadian, this isn't gonna seem like a big deal, but in Colombia, they sell milk unrefrigerated off the shelf in baggies. The air is sealed out of the baggie, so there's no need to refrigerate it until it's open. You take it home, you put it in a special plastic pitcher, you cut the corner and dispense. That freaks you out too much, you can find cold milk in the jugs in some of the major cities, especially at stores like Éxito, which is pretty much Colombian for Target. Colombia's current literacy rate, according to UNESCO, is 94.7%. According to the Department of Education, the USA has a literacy rate of about 86%. The USA doesn't have a UNESCO rating. Probably too embarrassed. Join our Facebook group, Se Hablamos Español. Un poco. If you hated this video, give me an ironic thumbs up. On the screen is another video YouTube thinks you'll like, and a subscription link and links to our other channels. And until next time, stay out of the comfort zones.